Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Welcome back to the F1 2018 career mode here, guys, and you join me for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at the Baku City Circuit. We have just received a major engine power upgrade to the powertrain, and that is going to set us up for a magnificent chance at getting our first podium of the season this time around. So, and we're almost in a position to be able to then, because of that major upgrade, we're in a position to maybe be able to get the ultimate engine power upgrade as well. Looking like a clear weekend. Race is going to get a little bit overcast near the end, but for most of it, it should be nice and sunny, so no rain expected like Baku in Season 2, I believe. There was some wet weather in it. So, just moving in over to the upgrade screen now, you can see where we've got the major upgrade for the engine power, for the intercooler. That puts us just shy of Force India in the powertrain department. And I've got two options, really. We could go for the major one, or we could go for the turbo pressure, which is the ultimate upgrade. Now, that will take 3 weeks to come onto the car, whereas the fuel technology will take 2 weeks. So, really, I'm questioning, do I want this in time for, do I want this for Monaco, or do I want this for Canada? It's pretty much the question I'm asking. And I think it makes the most sense to maybe go for the, I could go for the major one now, or I could wait maybe like after the race and then go for the ultimate one. And I think that's probably what we're going to do. But let's get into quali and see where we are.
The circuit has rubbed in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan.
So to recap the session, we went for 3 runs, best of which was my third and final run. This is the end of the very first run. Bottas provisionally fastest on a 36.8. We're going to come across the line, and it's a 38.3. It provisionally puts me P4, a second and a half down on my own teammate, which was a 14th by the time drivers had done their first run. We're in for our second run now, up towards the line. It's nearly 0.6 improved, and it's up provisionally to P7. Fastest final sector, and splitting the Ferraris. So that was a lot better. But then we were able to go out one more time. It was 8th by the end of that second run. So let's see what we can do on our last run. Let's go on board for most of the lap, nearly hitting the pit wall through turn 1, but carrying the speed better, and we're up on our delta. Then up towards turn 2, missing the apex ever so slightly, utilising a bit of the curb, and we're 2/10 up. However, acceleration has been hampered down the following straight as we head down towards the third 90-degree corner. Loads of cars out on their out lap, whereas we're, of course, on our hot lap. So let's hopefully not run into anyone on this qualifying lap. We've missed the apex of that corner horrifically, and that puts our delta down by the castle section. Our delta is nearly matched, but we have just stayed maximum commitment. That's probably the best that I've ever taken the castle section, and just narrowly brushing the barriers, but now maximum commitment now. And we're soon to be just 2 corners to go until we are flat for about 24 seconds as we're just very careful over the curb, but a better run. It's 2/10 up on our previous run now as we come through. We are 7/10 down on provisional pole, but can we improve on the lap? We improve on our delta on the acceleration. Raikkonen is only just ahead of us, and if I was just a smidge or so closer, we might be able to get a little bit more slipstream off the back of the Ferrari, but maximum commitment, maximum power, down towards DRS is open, 215, 218, 219, 220 miles an hour briefly as we cross the line for a provisional P8 at Azerbaijan. That's all we could really give. And I can't even actually recall where we ended up off the back of that session. Just as a quick recap, coming into this weekend, Red Bull no upgrades, Force India no upgrades. We're really close to Force India now. Should have probably put this bit ahead of the quali section. That's more of a mental note for me. So now you can actually get inside my brain as me as an editor while I curse myself. McLaren have bought a huge upgrade this time out, and they pull away from Force India. Toro Rosso, and move towards Ferrari, who haven't bought a single upgrade yet this season down there in 5th place. So you can see the top 3 getting really, really close to each other. Renault plateaued a little bit, but I'm sure they'll come back a little bit later on in the year. Sauber now the slowest team, but you can see after quali we have the upgrades, we have the points to get the ultimate engine upgrade, and that'll put Mercedes back on top of the pile for best engine in Formula 1. I am very, very excited to get that on the car. It will come in time for Canada, which is the perfect race for it to arrive. Nice power track, at the end, like at the end of the back straight, you got the chicane, and then we got the run into turn 1, so that will be huge for us. By then, of course, we might have another couple of upgrades on the car, and we will actually be in contention. I mean, Canada's a good one for me anyway. We've still got a few races till then. More importantly, let's focus on Baku and the race on Sunday afternoon. Let's get into it.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku City Circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. With that then, let's run through the grid order. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and it's Esteban Ocon in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and Ricciardo, Vettel, Hülkenberg, Leclerc, and Pierre Gasly. Raikkonen, the captain, Kevin Magnussen, and Grosjean, Stroll, Ericsson, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Brendan Hartley. They've taken a grid penalty. Sirotkin and Fernando Alonso starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are, P12 on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Not exactly where we wanted to end up, but nonetheless, you know, we've got to make the best of a bad situation. It does really put us in the position of where we were in Australia and in Bahrain, being able to run the middle tyre at the start, and then the harder compound tyre towards the end, and you know, make sure we can definitely get that one stop to work. However, that being said, Red Bull and Force India have been able to get that to work even when they're using the tyre that they qualified on. So, because it's Baku, long straights, lots of fuel. Obviously, we're going to be running it quite heavy, but I don't want to run too heavy because obviously that will sacrifice us on traction. So, we're going to go just about a lap over. And realistically, the race should only take us about 44 minutes because it's a quick one here if you get it right. I've made it a bit more front focused this time on the downforce. So I'm letting the rear be a little bit more unpredictable, as it were. So we'll see. I'm quietly confident going into this one. While I don't enjoy it as much, I think we'll be able to succeed, as we have 5 red lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Not a long hold at all because we are underway into turn 1. It's a very short run. Cars are going to bunch themselves up, and that's exactly what they've done. I'm going to stick my nose in, and lo and behold, Hülkenberg has run it out very wide. He gets good exit initially, but we are then down the inside of turn 2 versus the Renault, already up into 8th position. Just pretty much putting myself out there and hoping and praying to get a good result. The 2 Force Indias lead it then, with Perez probably leading Ocon, and then Bottas is actually up in 3rd. Fantastic qualifying from Valtteri, but now we need to get our head down, not burn too much fuel in the early part, wait till DRS is enabled, and then start to come back at the cars ahead. Though that being said, we have kept up quite nicely to the back of Sebastian Vettel, and that Ferrari power unit is nowhere near as good as the Mercedes power unit I've got in the back of this car, and we are on the warpath, closing up behind. Perez does lead the way, drop it back down to standard, and we should be able to get to Vettel. He moves across to the outside of turn 1, braking on the curb, sweep round the outside. Fantastic move on the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel, and I'm going to need to see that one more time. As Sainz and Ricciardo battle hard up ahead of us, but just look at this into the braking zone, just keeping it composed, sweeping around the outside of a multi-time world champion. Shouldn't be that easy, but goes to show the confidence now that I have in the Mercedes to be able to perform. But anyway, we rejoin the action, same lap as Ricciardo and Sainz going side by side into turn 3. Vettel trying to have a go down the inside, but not able to do it. We squeeze him into the apex, and Ricciardo and Sainz go side by side once again into the 4th 90-degree right-hander, and Ricciardo looks to have finally got him on traction. That puts Sainz on the back foot into us, as we have set a purple first sector. Of course, everyone going to be going purple at this stage of the Grand Prix, but Sainz, bad traction. Can we get him down into the hairpin? He's gone very defensive. He's also locked up. We go round the outside, just keep it out of the wall, and we've got him round the outside of Carlos Sainz in one of the tightest corners on the entire track. I am amazed we have got away with that one. And once again, I'm going to need to see that again and admire my own work from off board. Look at that, just keeping the car out the barrier on the dirty stuff. Incredible driving, and I've just got a newfound confidence, even though we've mainly been doing power upgrades on this Mercedes. Just this new confidence I have in it to be able to perform and know that when I stamp on the pedal, it's going to grip, as I nearly put it in the wall after taking too much curb. But we've built a bit of a gap back to Sebastian Vettel, and we're now hunting down the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo, and then of course up ahead of him, his teammate Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. Speaking of Valtteri Bottas, he's in at the end of lap 4, and so is Daniel Ricciardo, so those Ultra Softs clearly not hanging on. Those two definitely going to be going for a two-stop strategy, where we go very deep into turn 1, nearly hit the barrier. We move on now to the end of lap 7, where the Force Indias and Verstappen have been carrying on. So these guys committing to a one-stop by the looks of things, just dragging out their Ultra Softs, and we close in on Verstappen. Just, it's so satisfying to get the castle section right, as we haven't quite caught him because Verstappen was still good on traction, so he pits the same lap, end of lap 7, as Sergio Perez, and they're probably going to go on. Perez going for a soft tyre, so that implies he's going to the end of the race. I imagine Verstappen will do the same, and Ocon will do the same at the end of lap 8 when he pits, but we're really not too far off the leaders. And as we move on to the end of lap 8, see Ocon is in the pits now, so we'll be taking the lead. We'll be conducting the Charles Leclerc of this Grand Prix, starting on the harder tyre and taking the lead and doing our the best job possible. I get the feeling we're going to run to about lap 10, lap 11, and then we're going to come in and fit on a set of the soft compound tyre. So Perez now retakes provisional lead, or net race lead, in second place. Ocon third, and probably then the two Red Bulls very close to each other.
23.3 seconds.
So we get notified there by Jeff. 23 seconds to Bottas. I'm not too sure how long it is to make a pit stop at Azerbaijan. I get the feeling it's around that sort of amount. You've got to remember, Bottas was ahead of us when he peeled into the pits at the end of lap 4. And obviously Bottas, by the looks of things at this point, we're both going to have another pit stop left to make. So we just need to keep pushing on, which is what I'm doing. We're coming in at the end of this lap to fit the soft compound tyre. And through the first sector, we are actually only 2 tenths down on our personal best of the Grand Prix so far. So car's still feeling really good. Tyres can probably go a little bit longer, but we're better off just taking the fresh tyres now rather than later. So look, you can even see it there. The most worn tyre is my right rear at 41%. They've easily got 20% left in them, but we're going to come in. End of lap 11, so we're going to turn the engine down a little bit, attack the pit entry best I can. That was pretty damn good, actually. Get it slowed down nicely to 50 miles an hour. Mercedes boys out into the pits, fitting the soft tyre. Not busy in the pit lane whatsoever. 2.2, fantastic stop by the boys. Here comes Verstappen into turn 1. I think that's who we were chasing down at the end of the first inning. So he's probably gained a little bit on us due to fresh tyres. And then, annoyingly, I had issues turning the car out of the pit exit, and I get a warning for crossing the line. I think I probably got away with it because cars weren't actually rapidly approaching. But Bottas there, you see on the super soft tyres, long way behind me. So whatever's happened since he went to those super softs, he's not been able to get the pace on. He's 11 seconds behind me. So realistically, the only cars that have a shot of winning this race are both Force Indias, Perez and Ocon, Verstappen and myself, as we're on the one stops. But you know, we've done our personal best of the Grand Prix at 40.9. We're 1.5 behind Verstappen. I think the Force Indias are just out of reach, annoyingly. I don't think yet we have the power or the straight line speed to be able to face them as Bottas comes in for his second stop. So that brings Hulkenberg up to 5th. End of lap 16. And Verstappen is now dangerously close to being within DRS range. In fact, I think this might be the lap where we do get within range of the Red Bull, trying to not scrub off at any kind of speed. We're already easily over 200 mile an hour, and we're in the slipstream, and we're going to get DRS. And this is all she wrote versus Verstappen, who moved to the right-hand side. That's what I'm going to do as well. Just missed the back of the Red Bull and the wall, but we have easily cleared in with a personal best lap of the Grand Prix to boot, due to the slipstream and DRS. That is a 40.7. That's also third place. Verstappen's going to try and come back at us, though. We got a better run through turn 1. His nose is up the inside of 2. We give him the room, but we get the better exit due to it being a wider line. And that is us up now into third place. The only two cars ahead of us now are the two Force Indias of Esteban Ocon and, of course, Sergio Perez. But as mentioned before, I think they're just a little bit too far out of my reach this afternoon. We crossed the line into the 41.8s, and we're 9 seconds behind Ocon.
30.1 seconds.
And I think what we also need to consider here is Verstappen is easily still within DRS range, so I need to be looking in my mirrors at the Red Bull, because he is still harrying me as we once again go through the castle section. Just getting it right. I get in awe every time I go through there, like, in my personal opinion, like the way I do it well, just because it's so easy to get it wrong and it's so rewarding to get it right, you know. But end of lap 19, Verstappen hasn't been able to have a go at me.
9.1 seconds.
And the gap, as you heard from Jeff there, hasn't really got changed too much versus Ocon. Now, we are in rich mix and we are using high ERS, so I'm fairly confident when we turn the car down, the gap is going to...
Gap to car in front is 8.3 seconds.
So you see there, I gave it everything, did a personal best of 40.3. Verstappen is now out of DRS range with 6 laps to go if you include the one we're on. It's 8.3 to Ocon, but unfortunately that used up all of my energy that was in reserves. You know, I used all my ERS with overtake mode, and I used all the rest of my remaining fuel with rich. So now, unfortunately, we come to the end of lap 22. We're back in the 41s, and Ocon now 10 seconds ahead of me. So I tried, but I don't have enough left in the tank. So it's now more a matter of just getting it to the end. Now, that's exactly what we're going to do as we come on to the end of lap 25 and the beginning of lap 26. We've built a gap easily out to Verstappen. He's given up the chase, because even with slipstream and DRS, he wasn't able to challenge me. Once he fell out of that, I think he's just turned his car down.
This is the final lap of the race.
We did, don't get me wrong, we were still giving it a go, even to the final lap at 40.1. I wanted to get into the 39s as I started getting better and better through the final couple of corners of Sector 2 into Sector 3 to get like best run down like the straight. But it looks if it's going to be another Force India 1-2. They've finally got their issues resolved with Perez and with Ocon, you know, them crashing and having whatever mechanical issues they've had. So looks like it's going to be a Force India 1-2. But we're on target for our first podium as we've tagged the wall there. Might have even damaged the front wing in a small capacity there. Concentration just at a minimum at this point. Just burning off what's left of the fuel and just bringing the car home, really. But I'm happy that it's actually not gone too bad, as we've definitely taken that corner all wrong, and there's definitely some damage to the front wing now as we come through the castle section. One final time as we had to take 2 bites of the cherry at turning in, but good race. You know, normally I absolutely hate coming to this circuit because of how uncompetitive I am, but we've been able to stick it in third. Considering where we started, the one stop, you know, realistically the cars around us, Verstappen, as we've taken a boatload of curb, the cars around us, Verstappen, Ocon and Perez all did the one stop as well, ultra soft, 2 soft tyres, and yeah, it was only between the 4 of us. Sergio Perez crosses the line and wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He will be followed by his teammate Esteban Ocon, but I'm proud and happy of what I've been able to achieve here. It's our first podium as a Mercedes driver, first podium of the season, and even though Force India are winning, we have the development path in front of us, and we can win this title.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Force India have really come a long, long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn that top spot.
So there you have it. As I said, Sergio Perez wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, 9 seconds ahead of his teammate Esteban Ocon to complete the Force India 1-2. We get our first podium for Mercedes-Benz in 3rd place, coming from 12th on the grid, and they're Verstappen. They're finishing off the 1 stops to be the top 4. First of the 2 stoppers, Daniel Ricciardo, just didn't work out for him this afternoon. Nico Hulkenberg put in a really strong performance there to finish 6th ahead of my teammate Valtteri Bottas, who of course came home in P7. Then the midfield 1 stoppers, Kevin Magnussen leading the charge there in 8th. Ericsson putting in a really good performance for Sauber, getting 2 points from 16th on the grid. And Carlos Sainz, the 2 stop, didn't work out for him, whatever issues he had today, but 5th down to 10th and only getting 1 point there. And the Toro Rosso of Gasly nowhere near as competitive here. Same as what can be said with Fernando Alonso there. So Drivers' Championship standing-wise, Daniel Ricciardo still leads the way on 71 World Championship points, and he leads Perez, who's got his 2nd points of the season. Of course, with that being a win, that puts him at 50 points. We're a point behind him with 43, and Esteban Ocon now up there as well with 47 points. The only person in the 40 regions is Max Verstappen on 42 points. Then it falls down to Bottas on 28 points, down in 6th place. The top 3 teams, of course, Red Bull, Force India, and Mercedes. Speaking of which, as we move over to the constructors side of things, we still see it there. Red Bull lead the way, 113 points to Force India's 97 and Mercedes 77. Ferrari appear to be absolutely nowhere this season, and if Renault keep going with their upgrades the way they look like they're going to be going, Renault could even challenge them for 4th in the constructors standings. But that has been the weekend of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's time for us to kick back, catch up with Claire, and enjoy our post-race celebration.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
When you've got an engine as good as ours and as bold as I am at the overtakes, nothing really can go wrong.
Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race.
I think I was just fortunate in that qualifying outside the top 10 made the one stop that much easier, really.
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
I'm inclined almost to disagree. Mercedes are coming back, and both myself and Valtteri, when we get on it, we will be winning races sooner rather than later.
You left some bodywork out there on the track. Were you struggling for grip?
Just a genuine small mistake, especially on that final lap. Just tap the wall. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So here we are then. Here is the R&D tree with, of course, our ultimate upgrade pending coming to the car, which should put us up there with Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, and ahead of Force India. So the biggest area of development I see is definitely in the chassis. So I think we're going to have to consider that in the near future. But we're going to build up a small bank of resource points because I want to get the major upgrade for the powertrain. And once that's also in development, we will then worry about the rest of the chassis. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Us getting our first podium as a Mercedes-Benz driver at a circuit I absolutely detest. Next time out, we're at one of my more favourite tracks, Spain. I'm hoping to make it more entertaining than the recent real-life Spanish Grand Prix with a little bit more flair and flavour. But, you know, the car should be good there, the engine should be good there, and it's always a fun circuit to drive on the game. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and comment your feedback down below. Subscribe and enable them notifications to be kept up to date with the content that comes to the channel. And I will see you all next time.